Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So today I'm here with a special comparison video, and this time it's the Soundcore Liberty 2 Pros and the AirPods 2, or the AirPods Generation 2, whichever you want to call them. So these are two of the best earphones that have come out for the year 2019. Of course, there's the AirPods Pro, but they're like 250 bucks. These are more on par with each other when it comes to price. They both MSRP for about 150 bucks. Of course, the Liberty 2 Pros have been on sale a lot recently with, like Black Friday and Christmas. So you can pick them up, I think, even right now for $110, which is a really good deal. But either way, let's go ahead and take a look at both of these earphones and see which one is better and which one is the king of earbuds, at least in the $150 price range for 2019. All right, so before I get into the sound experience comparison on these two earphones, I wanted to go ahead and get both of them out center stage so you can have a look at them right next to each other, side by side, and see some of the differences. Of course, the AirPods, they have the little stem, they've got the little sensors on them for when you take them in and out of your ears, which is really nice, and they definitely beat out the Liberty 2 Pros in that department. But here's one thing that really matters to me in the Liberty 2 Pros is, of course, you can see that there's actual accessories and attachments. You have different earbuds that you can ear tips you can put on there, and also different ear wings or ear stabilizers to give you amazing sound isolation and a more comfortable experience. Versus with just the AirPods, it's one size fits all, which is something that's kind of irritating to me because they don't really fit in my ear all that well. And I think that might apply to some other people as well. Now, this might be a secondary concern or not a concern to some people, but as you can see here with the AirPods, they actually have aftermarket accessories, whereas the Liberty 2 Pros do not. So this is a Pitaka, the AirPal case, so it has a built-in battery for an emergency power bank and also additional recharges. Then we have the Nomads case here, and it's really nice too because you can get this cool leather case that goes over your AirPods, which I think is really nice, and it's something that I've appreciated while I've had my AirPods. So they kind of get the leg up whenever it comes to presentation and aftermarket support because, of course, who doesn't want really cool accessories, adding a wireless charging capability, or even, an additional battery bank to go along with this. So really cool that the AirPods do that versus, the Liberty 2 Pros. All right, so I touched on this just a second ago, but I want to go ahead and dive into the box and show you exactly what you're getting with the Liberty 2 Pros when it comes to the ear stabilizers, or ear wings as they're so aptly called, and the ear tips. So there's so many different sets in here. It's like a total of 5, there you go, 5 different sets of ear tips. There's 4 in the box, 1 on the earbuds. So those are totally interchangeable. And then you have the ear wings, you have a total of 3 sets of those. So you can fit them for pretty much any size ear, any person. You can get a better, more comfortable fit, which gives you better sound isolation. And this is one area where the Liberty 2 Pros beat out the AirPods. All right, so first I want to talk about the AirPods 2. So this is the AirPods Series 2. They have 2 different options you can get. You can get, of course, the regular ones, and then they have the ones with the wireless charging case. Now, as far as the sound experience, they're completely the same, and they look identical to the AirPods 1. They just have a couple small enhancements on them. Now, as far as the overall audio experience when it comes to the AirPods 2, if you just put these in your ear, you haven't listened to any other earbuds, or you listen to some lesser quality earbuds, I mean, I think they're pretty good. They offer a great comprehensive listening experience. They do a good job, and this is one thing that Apple does. They do a good job at doing a lot of things well. They don't necessarily do everything the best, but if they put a product out, typically it's very good. And the AirPods 2 are very good earbuds. Now, I listened to them. I was very anti AirPods because I had the EarPods before, or the regular ones that came with the iPhone, and I just really wasn't all that impressed with them. And also, they hurt my ears. I don't have the largest ears in the world, but I think one of the main things that people complain about with AirPods is that they're rigid, they don't have any ear tips, and it's one size fits all. And of course, our ears are not one size fits all. So that's one thing that was a big drawback for me. And I didn't really think that the sound experience was going to be worth it. But of course, you do get the integration with iOS on your phone, and it works seamlessly. It's super nice. You take the earbud out, it turns the music off. You put the earbud back in, it starts playing. Great for Siri, great for making phone calls. Overall, it's a really good experience. But when it comes down to the sound, that's where you're not getting $150 quality. And I didn't really have a whole lot of $150 earbuds until this past year. Really, I didn't like to spend money on earphones because I prefer headphones, because headphones are so much better. They have so much more sound. The sound stage is larger, better bass. I mean, just everything is larger. So, very against them. I ended up getting a pair. My wife got me the Galaxy Buds for Father's Day. And then after that, I was like, well, let me go ahead and pick these up. And now I have the Liberty 2 Pros. So I have quite a few earbuds in this arena now. And I've had a lot of opportunity to test these out to see, how good they really are. And when it comes to other earbuds, and particularly talking about the Liberty 2 Pros, I just don't think they hold up. Now, they do have good sound. They don't have great sound. The bass is there. The highs are not really represented all that well. It really depends on the song. But as music gets busier, as you're listening to like some rock, you're listening to some music that has a lot of stuff going on, you're not really hearing all three of the bands as well as you can with other earbuds, mainly the Liberty 2 Pros. Of course, they have dual drivers versus the single driver that's in here. So they're already behind the power curve for the Liberty 2 Pros when it comes to what they have hardware-wise, because the coaxial driver setup on the Liberty 2 Pros is just so impressive. Now, these, they're very much geared towards a natural, well-balanced sound. So they don't really have a whole lot of amazing sound when it comes to the bass. It's not really amazing when it comes to the mids or the highs. Vocals feel a little almost tinny to me after listening to the Liberty 2 Pros. When I first listened to them, I was like, wow, these AirPods have really good depth. It seems like they almost kind of simulate the bass. It just doesn't, the bass is kind of there, but it doesn't have depth. Everything in the AirPods sound spectrum is just kind of at the surface level. It's like if you were to go get a car that had a good audio system in it, not the base model one, but it had like the good one in it that didn't have the subwoofers, but it had decent 6x9s, and overall considered a premium sound experience. That's kind of what the AirPods sound like to me. And then you talk about the Liberty 2 Pros, and it's like I took my car down to the shop and I got subwoofers, I got amps, I got tweeters. You can just hear everything. So overall, the sound experience in the AirPods 2 is good. It's just not great. Now, bringing in the Liberty 2 Pros, like I said with the AirPods. So the AirPods, everything, I mean, it's there. There's just no depth. There's no oomph. There's no power. And it's just, it has a pretty wide sound stage, and the sound spectrum is pretty good. It's just, that's where I kind of have to leave the train at the station and call it pretty good. Plus, you get this really cool sliding case for the Liberty 2 Pros. So the Liberty 2 Pros, conversely, has a built-in wireless charger case. So that's nice. You do get more power out of them. You get longer battery life. And of course, you get the custom fitted tips and the ear stabilizers. So one of the things, like I said, I didn't like about the AirPods is that it's one size fits all. This, you have enough ear tips and ear stabilizers or ear wings, whatever you want to call them, to get you outfitted until the cows come home. You will be able to size these for anyone. It goes from like extra small to extra large, and then the 3 sets of ear wings plus the built-in wireless charging case. And of course, this is $150 and it's been on sale for like $110 lately. So the overall sound experience on these, I've done a full review on these already. I've actually done a full review on both of them. And the Liberty 2 Pros beats the AirPods 2 in every category, in my opinion. The vocals are clear, they're crisp, there's so much power behind them. The bass, it sounds like you have tiny little subwoofers inside of here, as opposed to, just skimming the surface of what could be bass in the AirPods. So the Liberty 2 Pros have the best bass out of any earphones I've ever listened to. The difference between, if you walk away with one thing, the most simple comparison I can make is the AirPods 2 sound like really good earphones. The Liberty 2 Pros sound like really good headphones. So if you've ever put a set of headphones on and you're just like, wow, these just sound so good. And I wish I had this video, because I was having my wife listen to these earlier before I got ready to sit down and do this. I was like, here, I want you to listen to the AirPods 2. And I let her put these in, and she's like, okay, yeah, these sound all right. And then took the AirPods out, and I was like, here, put the Liberty 2 Pros in. Turned it on, same song, same everything, picked up on the track where it left off, and like her eyes looked like they were about to explode. I told her I wish I could have got it on video, but I just didn't think her reaction was going to be that strong because she's not an audiophile. She doesn't really care too much about earphones. So she was just like, oh my gosh, like what are these things? So I told her the Liberty 2 Pros, and she said, what are those other ones? Are they some cheap, Chinese knockoff or something? They don't sound very good at all. I'm like, no, honey, those are the AirPods. She's like, oh my gosh, the AirPods suck. So that is basically the recap of a normal person who doesn't have experience with these listening to them. But the soundstage is immense. It is impressive. It is deep. The bass, the trebles. The only thing that most people I think might have issues with these is when it comes to the treble. They are very powerful. So you get a lot. The treble is usually what hurts people's ears. It's not so much the vocals. It's not so much the bass. The treble is, whenever you get the hi-hats and you get the cymbals, you get everything else going, sometimes it can be a bit much. So that's the only area I think maybe anyone might have any issues. I mean, these are a little bit heavier, but of course the sound isolation is great. These don't really have sound isolation. They just kind of sit in your ear. These have great sound isolation on them. And one other thing that makes the Soundcore Liberty 2 Pros all that much better is the universal equalizer and the Hear ID. So you plug these in and you get whatever you get. And then whatever the sound equalizer is you set up for your individual apps, of course, is not the same and it's not custom tuned to your ear. Then you have the specialized equalizer, the Hear ID, which is customizable. You go in, it adapts to the frequencies, and it's kind of like a miniature little sound test, and it tells you where you hear good, where you don't, and it tunes the equalizer so you can hear better. And then on top of that, it applies across the board. So download the Soundcore app, you're good to go. And then that's how you get it set up, and it applies everywhere. So it's not like, I go to Spotify, my music sounds different. I go into YouTube, my music sounds different. I go into iTunes or Apple Music, and my music sounds different. It will sound the same across the board because you're getting that customized equalizer. And then if you don't like that, there's 22 other different equalizers to choose from. So yeah, there's just really nothing in the AirPods that I can say really competes other than the connectivity. Now, the connectivity is fine. You can use either one of these, the AirPods or the Liberty 2 Pros. You can use the earbuds individually. The connection, I think, is faster when it comes to the AirPods. Of course, you get the little sensors, so when you take them in and out of your ears and stuff, the Liberty 2 Pros don't do that, but they do have longer battery life, so some of the trade-offs there. But with the AirPods, you get seamless integration with your Apple products, which is nice. The Bluetooth pairing experience is not difficult for the Soundcore Liberty 2 Pros, but of course, you don't get the nice little pop-up, on your iPhone. It doesn't work, it doesn't connect as quickly. So it's not that it has bad connectivity. It's just that that's one thing that Apple really goes out of their way for, is that seamless integration experience. So I'll give it to the AirPods in the connectivity department. Now, that's all I have on my review of the AirPods 2 and the Soundcore Liberty 2 Pros. Of course, if you like Apple products, if you like AirPods, you may not care what the overall sound experience sounds like, because this sounds like a sound studio, whereas this sounds like earbuds. It's just kind of where it's at whenever it comes to the power and the performance and the overall sound experience. But some people really do like AirPods. So, maybe if you want to spend more money, the AirPods Pro might be for you. I haven't listened to them, so I don't know exactly what they sound like, but with the passive noise listening and some of the other features, of course, with the customizable ear tips now, I've heard that they're better. So, maybe. And then if you just like that nice seamless integration experience, the availability with Siri on hand and all the other cool stuff, then, AirPods might still be for you. But if you're more of an audiophile and you want amazing power, amazing sound, and an all-around fantastic hearing and listening experience, then the Liberty Soundcore 2s are probably going to be up your alley, especially if you can get them for $110, which is an utterly amazing price. So that's all I have on my review for these two earphones. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like and the subscribe button. Hit the little notification bell so you can get access and notification for the latest and greatest. Thanks for stopping by, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.